Hello everyone and welcome. My name is Lainey. This is Big Girls Really Do Cry and welcome to the diet word. So we're on week 3, I believe. I've had a pretty good week. Nothing too extreme. Never had anything really out of the ordinary. The only thing that I did try that was different was some fish cakes, and I don't have a picture of them, I apologise. With some fish cakes out of Morrison's. There were cod fish cakes with mushy peas inside. I know it doesn't sound appealing, or maybe it does if you like that sort of thing. Have to say they were pretty bland, considering mushy peas tasted fine, but the fish part of it, you couldn't taste it really. So not something I would. I mean, I ate them because they were there. And there were 197 calories each, but not something I would retry. So, you know, there you go. I stayed within my calories all week, apart from yesterday when I went over by a Caramac. I had 2 Caramac's actually. I had enough calories for 1 Caramac, bar a couple of calories left. Ate that and then didn't feel like I ate it, so I had another one. It isn't really good to do that because I literally had it straight after. However, as you will see by the screenshot, I still stayed within my daily weekly average, even though I went over yesterday by 168. Caramacs are actually 170 each, but worth it. They're so worth it. Not 2 though. Don't do the 2 thing. 1 a day, fine. 2 a day, not good. Anyway, so yeah, so apart from going over yesterday, I still managed to be under my daily weekly allowance by 2 calories. So I finished on 2,448. So I'm happy with that. Like, I haven't got any pictures of any food. I've said that, haven't I? I'm planning on having a few drinks tonight that could lead to a takeaway. I'm hoping not. I've accounted for the alcohol within my calories, so I'm hoping if I have a couple of snacks, because I've kept some calories for snacks as well, to have after the alcohol, because that's when I usually want to eat. And I'm hoping that's enough, and I don't. And drunk me, I'm blaming drunk me, right, later on. Drunk me later on doesn't go, I know, I should piss like that, because that wouldn't be good. God, is that really how I sound when I'm drunk? Hopefully not. So yeah, we'll see how that goes, but obviously you'll find out next week how that does go. The other thing I'm going to do is again read something from my blog, something I wrote which was called Motivated by Decision. So here we go. Motivation, we all want it and need it, right? Yet when we need it most, it's usually the time it disappears and is nowhere to be found. So is motivation real, or is it just a name we give to a group of separate things that keep us going? We all have a comfort zone, or mode that our brain sort of goes to on automatic pilot, because it's used to being there. It's comfortable and has a cozy blanket to wrap you up in and keep you safe. It can also hold you back if anything scares you. That same comfort zone mode also accounts for a lot of things you don't really think about. For instance, have you ever ate things you forgot you had because you grab it and automatically while doing something else, and then later on you're starving and you tell yourself you haven't eaten anything, only for them then to remind you that you had a cheese and onion pasty, 3 bags of crisps and a chocolate bar. Or maybe if you drive, you've arrived at a destination on a route you know so well, and you can't actually remember or recall doing the steps it took to get there because your brain doesn't really have to think about it. These behaviour patterns in our mind are repetitive habits, and it's where our brain likes to be, but they are also changeable. This is where we assume motivation is needed or willpower is key. Personally, I think it's about being aware, making a decision and doing it. Your brain is going to sabotage you because it likes the easy autopilot mode, and so will try to pull the emergency brake on you, especially with anything that brings up your fear, because it is designed to protect us, which is where anxiety holds us back from so much. Before I end up going on about a load of other subjects, I will explain. So you want to change something, let's say it's your weight. You made the decision and you make plans to do it. At the start of anything, we are usually super motivated and super up for the challenge. You are now motivated, and what usually happens is we make some mistakes at the start by putting too much pressure on ourselves, wanting instant results or setting ridiculous targets we can't reach. We literally go from 0 to 1,000,000, which mostly ends up with disappointment. You can guarantee when that happens, your motivation will have packed up and left you, leaving crying into a tub of Ben and Jerry's ice cream. I think you have to be aware logically and realistically, and know that you aren't going to lose 14 pounds every week, and there's no machine that will make you instantly slim. Believe me, I've tried to dream about it many times. But know that any loss is a step in the right direction, and you shouldn't be disappointed because you are losing weight, which is what you want. Making small consistent changes forever, that doesn't mean you can never have something you love, or that if you had a shit day and you ate half a packet of that if you had a shit day and half a packet of biscuits fell in your mouth, that it doesn't mean you failed. It just means that you're human, and it's about what you do after that. Accepting it and not punishing yourself for it, and realising that it hasn't spoiled how far you've come, and then making the decision to move forward and letting it go. We are not perfect, so don't expect to be, but at the same time be aware so that you aren't going totally off progress. I haven't been perfect along the way, but I have been mostly consistent, and so therefore making progress. That wasn't until last year, but that's a different story, as you know. I guess what I'm saying is motivation, willpower for me is about having something that you really want to happen, making a decision to do it, then making consistent small changes to what you're currently doing to make it happen, whilst being aware, using your logic so as not to have unrealistic expectations, and realise that progress is progress no matter how small it is or how long it takes. Not really sure if that's totally understandable to everyone, but it is how I view it. Thank you all for reading. I'll be back soon with a catch up. Take care. And it was a big thanks to Indy for asking the question, because she'd asked me the question at the time. But yeah, that is my viewpoint. I still have that viewpoint. Motivation and stuff, it disappears when you need it most. And the thing is, there's always going to be blips, you know what I mean? There are always going to be blips. You're in your own lane, in your own race. If you knock a hurdle down or two, it's fine. You get back up, you keep going, and eventually you'll get there. That's the way I see it. And yeah, I think that's all that needs to be said. I can't even remember when I wrote that blog post. A few years ago now. Go back. Where's the date? 20th of December 2018. Yeah, God, that's nearly 3 years ago. Can't believe it. 3 years. Anyway, I have had my blip. I had quite a big blip. Considering that I put half of my weight back on, but I also had a hell of a lot going on, you know, and I'm not going to blame myself. I'm not going to torture myself. I've got back on it. I feel up for it again. I keep, you know, trying to use my logic and moving forward. And, you know, if I have the occasional over of me calories on a Caramac now and then, it's not going to be the end of the world. At one time it would have been the end of the world, the end of my diet. I'd have been a failure, and I'd have sabotaged myself so badly. I'd have probably been using an inner monologue of telling myself, well, I'm fat anyway, what's the point, blah 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 blah, and that would have just been the start of a massive decline, till 6 months later I was sat crying about how much more I'd gained. So I'm not going back to that. I'm not going back there. And I'm just going to move forward. Anyway, thank you very much for watching. Please put in the comments below how you're getting on, if you're doing any sort of plan, etc, etc. Let me know how it's going, and I shall catch you next week. Bye bye now.